Getting ready. Hi guys, we are live.
Yay!
With one of my favorite subscribers that has been around from the beginning. So this is Alicia from Spirit Song. Hi guys, we are live.
Ooh, we've got an echo, don't we?
Hey guys, Keisha, Elvia, you guys are quick. I didn't even put out a notice on this one.
Jumped on, huh?
Just jumped on. So Alicia and I have been talking about
everything.
Going batshit crazy the last few days, right? So we've kept in touch from the beginning, and it seems like we've been on the same wavelength, the same vibe about this whole thing, right? And so we've been trying to figure out, hey MJ, what exactly we wanted to start with as far as channeling, right? Because we feel like, there's so much with tarot that we can do. However, part of our mission and our life purpose is to really help others and to empower others to really get through some of these tough cycles that we go through, right? And so I woke up this morning and I was talking to Alicia and I said, girl, I know what we've got to talk about. It's this repeating cycles and how to break those cycles.
Yes.
So part of my focus here, and guys, we're channeling, so there's no, you never know what's going to come out. Just the messengers, okay?
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer, yes. One of the biggest things that I've noticed with people that are very close to me going through the same things is, we keep attracting the same kinds of people or the same kind of relationships. And part of the question is, what is it within us that we need to change? And what do we need to do in order to break those cycles? Okay. A lot of us have let go of toxic people in the past, right? We've let go of relationships that were clearly not for us. We stopped holding on to people that didn't deserve a place in our life, right? Time to get vulnerable here. So I am not one to jump from relationship to relationship. Over the past, we'll say 1.5 years, 2 years, it seems like I have attracted the same, and Alicia had a grocery delivery. That's why she disappeared for a little bit. The same type of relationships. And so it's one of those things that the face changes, the people change, but we're repeating the same shit, right? Yeah, there's the toxic in us, exactly, Elisa, that we have to figure out how to heal and where all of that stuff comes from. Where is that stemming from?
Yep.
Right? How do we attract something different? And so I was floating on, I don't remember if it was Instagram or Pinterest or something this morning, and something that really stood out to me was one of the quotes that said, when we're meeting people, they're either repeating, it's like either showing you a repeating cycle or the start to something new.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so how do we differentiate between those two? And where do we go from here, right? Because we've done a lot of healing, a lot of growth, a lot of inner work. But as Alicia knows, we had a conversation yesterday. Sometimes those things rear their ugly heads all over again. And you're like, what the fuck? I thought we had processed this. I thought we had squashed those fears.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts, Alicia?
I think a lot of times we forget that at any given moment in our lives, people are mirrors to us, right? And so if I'm being my whole self, I'm going to attract mirrors that show me my whole self, right? But if I'm not whole at the moment, if I'm broken, if I still have triggers, if I still have wounds that I'm trying to just, go full-fledged forward, just be like, F it, I'm gonna live and still have these wounds, then I'm gonna attract that stuff. People with the same kind of wounds or people that are doing the same thing. Avoidance conflict is what they call it in psychology, right? And so I think like what we have to remember when we're trying to manifest something or when we're trying to get rid of a pattern or a habit is that the reason that those people that are the people we don't want or the outcomes we don't want or the scenarios that we don't want, we're attracting them. The first step is that difficult one, to look in the mirror, right?
And also, I think part of that is we focus on what we want, then it starts coming in, and then all of those fears and insecurities come back up. And so we start attracting the negativity of it. And our thoughts are powerful, our words are powerful. So basically it's like, well, shit, I don't want to get cheated on again. I don't want to get hurt again. I don't want to get my heart broken again. Well, how do we allow things to flow? And that's been our keyword for the last few days. Allow things to flow throughout that whole process, right?
Yeah. And it's so funny this stuff comes up because you and I were talking about how we're coming out of Mercury retrograde, which means there's still some lasting effects. We're in Pisces season, but we're in Pisces season, which is deep, 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 deep feeling, deep self-healing and work, and it's intense. And I think that this is the time, this is the time. Not, okay, I'll get to it. This is the time. This is the year. This is the decade. This is the month. This is, the universe is all working together right now for us to really sort this crap out, to be willing.
Either, right? We don't want to look at our stuff. We don't want to open those because they hurt. And we want to stick a Band-Aid on it and be like, it's fine. It's fine. Meanwhile, it's like gushing blood and you're bleeding out. And you're like, just put duct tape on it or something. But this is really what I've been channeling within the last few lives, I want to say, where spirit is really pushing us to face all of that shit, really dig deep and heal those things and those patterns and those, we all have some toxic traits to us. It's recognizing and being open for the new coming in.
Yes.
Without attracting the same shit that we keep trying to run from.
Right. You said something really powerful just then. I heard it. I know you didn't say it this way, but I heard it this way. You said on the past few lives, and you meant live streams, live videos, but like, honey, a lot of us are repeating stuff from past lives. We're repeating some shit that like has been over and over again, not just a repeating cycle in this lifetime, but in last ones and in generations before us. And in, it's something that the black sheep of the family and the person, the outcast of the society, it's your job to do is to break the cycle, is to stop doing the same thing everybody else has done, right? And as people who are aware, people who are awake, people that know that there really is something bigger than us, there is a relationship, there is communication, it's our job to not just be like, okay, I'll hear that part, but nope, I ain't interested in hearing about my skeletons in the closet. I don't want to know about how it's my fault or my responsibility. Ugh.
Exactly. That's the thing. So I love all my subscribers, there's a lot of private clients that'll come to me and they just want you to read the tarot. Like,
just tell me who he is. Tell me what's going to happen. Right.
Tell me what's going to happen. And it's like, that's not how it works, because A, there's free will involved, right? B, I can tell you what's in your vortex, what is trying to come in for you.
Exactly.
If we don't heal all of that other shit and really work with how can we be at our best vibes?
Yeah.
Hold on, guys, go away now. Sorry, mommy mode. I knew this is gonna happen. Say hello. Hi. Hi. Mommy break. Sorry, guys.
Oh, cute. I love it.
Bye on here.
Sweetest.
What was gonna happen? So it's part of my goal here is to not only, tarot is a tool, right? But like any other tool in life, if we don't apply it properly, it doesn't matter what divination tool you use, it'll keep telling you the same message over and over. It doesn't matter what deck you use, what oracle card you use, what shuffle song comes on. It makes no fucking difference if you are not going to accept the responsibility and really be real and deep and vulnerable with yourself, because that's to being able to be open and real and honest and vulnerable with others. And if we crave those types of connections with other people, how do you think that's going to happen if you can't be real with yourself? And listen, we all have our shit that we'd rather just be like, hey, I'm perfect, I'm good. It's all their fault. It's their fault. They're the toxic ones. They did this or they said that, but what was our part in it?
And I'm looking at some of these beautiful people's comments. You guys are awesome. Looks like Elvia and Keisha and then Rebel Soul. You're all kind of saying, we're all kind of in the same vein of identifying the issue, right? We don't all have the same issues. So we're not all going to be attracting the same kind of toxicity, right? It's not going to look the same for all of us. Like Elvia said, or Elvia, right? She said she needs to stop negative thinking. And then Keisha was talking about, keep getting those people that have the bad vibes. And then Rebel saying, being able to educate yourself on some of the practicalities of it, the behavior, the psychology. Like, we all, first off, have a whole birth chart with a whole lot of different energies in it, right? But even that sun and moon sign, it's different for many of us. Not to mention the cultures we grew up in, the cultures we're living in. Even if it's in the United States, there's still different subcultures and things going on. And so I think sometimes the fear is in identifying it, right? I know something's there. I know it's been there a long time, but I can't put my finger on it, right? Can I be courageous enough to identify it?
Right. Like, why? Okay, let's say, why do I keep attracting fuckboys? Right?
Real.
Girl, it's real. And then they fucking sociopaths, all right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you've beat the fuckboy. You can spot a fuckboy like that. Let's level you up. But a lot of people will say, but I don't know. I don't know why. I am repeating the same cycles. Why am I living the same story with different people and different timelines?
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that, Alicia?
I think it goes one of two ways. It's what you and I were talking about earlier with the moth, or what was the other thing you said?
Yes.
Was it butterflies?
Moths and butterflies.
Okay, so and I'm gonna let you explain that quote in a minute because that was yours. But here's how I see it. I think that, when we have our energy field, our vortex, our circle, whatever it might be for each of us, and there are people we either let in or they have come into that energy. Now we're operating in the same big pot of soup, okay? What I suppress is going to be expressed in other people in my energy field. So if I have, for example, sexual appetite and desire, and I'm suppressing the hell out of it because I don't want to express it and show it. Right. What do you think is going to happen with people around me? They're going to be maybe hypersexual.
Exactly.
Or they're going to show to me the opposite of what's going on with me, because in this world there's balance, there's polarity, there's, we always have day and night, light and dark, we've got yin and yang, we've got, up and down, yes, masculine and feminine, we've got, and it's kind of like, I am the universe, you're the universe, we're all pieces of this universe. So if I'm keeping a whole lot of stuff in one chakra, the other chakras are going to show up in some people I'm close to, or when I go and put energy out there, other stuff has to come back to kind of balance and make sense of it. So I think that's part of it, is recognizing, why is that coming to me? Okay, partially because something's going on in me, or something's not going on in me. And so what's coming to me is either supplementing or complementing what is or isn't going on.
So here's channeled messages I've been writing while you've been talking.
Yay.
So here's the thing. With that whole attracting moths and butterflies, once we start leveling up and our vibes start raising, right?
Yes.
We're in the inner work, we're awakened to the inner work that needs to be done, even if we may not be 100% aware of exactly what that work is or what that looks like.
Yep.
You have this light within you that attracts everyone. And this is something that Alicia and I were talking about yesterday, because it's like, you just get a different reaction from people than you did in the past. And, some of us have gotten attention and whatever throughout our whole lives, but this is something different. This is like you walk into a room and the energy shifts.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, all kinds of offers, some that we just have to roll our damn eyes at and be like, thank you, next. No, we're not going to even entertain that, right? Because we don't entertain certain things at this vibration. There are things that we can off the bat look at and say, yeah, no, that's not going to work for me. Let's keep it moving.
Mm-hmm.
So I think part of why we continue to repeat those cycles and don't really get it, at least what I'm getting from my guides, is there is like this self-sabotage that is really fueling it. We don't realize it, but it's like, you know what? If I have all of these options here, what am I used to? What has been my comfort zone? Right? We may not realize, we don't realize it consciously, but on a subconscious level, we're afraid to fail. We're afraid that if we go for, let's say someone, all right, let's say there's someone that you're like, oh, you know what? They can't possibly really want me, right? This is too good to be true. It doesn't, whatever. It triggers all kinds of shit within you.
Yep.
That self-sabotage piece of you tells you to run for your fucking life because you would rather run than feel rejected.
Woo! Say that again.
Damn. I felt that one. My ass is getting dragged today.
Honey.
So it's a lot of really stopping and like to analyze what is being triggered within me that is causing me to have these reactions. And part of learning and self-growth is being able to do that, right? And being able to try to analyze and being aware enough to stop and think and be like, all right, hold on. This is seeming awfully familiar.
Yes.
Let me take a minute to breathe and figure out what exactly is going on. Out.
And I think that your version, as in universally, right? Everybody's version of what to stop and looking at it look like is different. It might be like they're playing with a whiteboard, right? It might be have a whiteboard. It might be have a journal. It might be have audio messages in your phone. It might, whatever it is, but you need something that documents. It has to document what you're doing that is familiar so you can go back and look at it and be able to see from that objective higher self, right? Because I think I just saw Elvia say that she's not happy in her relationship and keeps trying to make it work, that she's triggered by family. Or that might have been Keisha saying she's triggered by family. No. And so you think about like, okay, you and I both have had, I'm not happy in my relationship experiences and stayed in them knowing this is toxic, this is not healthy, I'm not happy, but I'm just doing it. And the only way now, because there was someone around in my life in January that after 2 weeks I said, nope, too familiar. But I wouldn't have been able to do that if I couldn't look back and say, oh, wow, you do what, oh, I remember this feeling. This is how I felt with someone else. Oh, I remember this bad habit. I was doing this with so-and-so. You know, you have to be able to do that.
Yeah, and exactly. You know, we've both been through some shit, you know, going all the way back to childhood. You know, we won't get into all of that right now because
different life.
different life. But what I'm thinking is, you know, especially like what you said, Alicia, we stayed in a relationship where we weren't happy. We didn't make ourselves a priority. There was so much lack across the board, you know, of, yeah, I got the chills on that one too. I was like, that didn't feel good. But we stayed, whether it was for kids, it was because we were scared that, again, being vulnerable and open and honest here.
Yeah.
Part of my fear, you know, in a Hispanic culture, especially, the whole, well, you know, you stick with your man because who's going to want you? The baggage of kids.
Nonsense. Yep.
Right. And so it took me a while to realize my kids are a bonus. They're freaking amazing and they're beautiful and they're wonderful. And if anyone has a problem with them, they're not the ones that are meant to be in my life. You know, I was raised by my stepdad since I was the age of like 3. And that man has been my rock my entire life. So it's like, what are you scared of when you had this perfect example of what that looks like and feels like to have someone step in, step up? You're not blood related.
Yeah.
But it never made a difference. And still to this day, almost 40 years old, the first person that I call if I need some kind of level-headed advice is my dad.
Yeah.
You know, I call my mom as well because we have a really good relationship, but she just goes into the status Hispanicus style thing. So I go into that to say, it's those triggers and other people's voices in our heads.
Yes.
We stay with the fears of, well, what are they going to think of me? What are they going to think of this? But, you know, fuck it. Sometimes you just have to keep to yourself. Don't say anything until it's done and let the pieces fall where they may at that point.
And you know what? You said something, you've said so many good things. This is so up our alley. But I'm thinking about the notes we took the other day and how you're talking about the fear of rejection, which is fear of failure. But you're also right now talking about the fear of success, the fear of happiness, which is a real thing, right? And, you know, it's kind of like, who just said something that I was reading? Said, oh yeah, Rebel. Sometimes it's easier to stay where we know what reactions will be, because when we don't know, the outcome scares us. The fear of the unknown covers so many things, because whatever the unknown is in your life, that's what it is. For me, it's happiness, the fear of happiness, right? For others, it might be the fear of success because they've never known success. For others, it might be the fear of being praised and celebrated because they didn't have that growing up or whatever. And what I'm noticing about another parallel, we kind of already decided that we're soul sisters and we're part of each other's tribe. It just is. We both had then stepdads that stepped in, stepdad, right? That stepped in. And what's funny about that is you end up then having both figures in your life. But this is kind of deep. We're created from our father, our biological father. So there's a part of, I just got chills on that one. There's a part of creation in the, this conception part of creation where, yes, someone else stepped in, but they're not they're not the loins we came from. Exactly. And so there's a little bit of the fear, even when they step in, that they're going to leave because they're not really the one who's supposed to be responsible for you. Absolutely. And so this is again where we talk about like, how do we identify our own crap? Okay, so if I had an example, but my example was someone who stepped in for me, then I may have a fear of whatever I have is going to break apart and someone's going to step in. You're always waiting for that person to step in, I know that feeling.
And you bring up a huge, huge topic with that fear of abandonment, because I know that's something I struggle with still to this day. And as awakened and whatever, we still have that within us where it's like, well, everyone always leaves, right?
Right. Yes.
Yeah, that one hurt a little bit too. So, we get to the point where if we're not careful, we can turn it around on ourselves. Like, well, what about me makes people want to leave?
Yeah.
But when we when we go back to realizing that people say and do things and it has nothing to do with us. This is their own internal issues, battles, demons. Mm-hmm. And I mean, even, let's say going back to childhood, people who have had parents who were alcoholic, in and out of their lives, abusive. There is a lot of inner child healing that has to take place with that. Because as children, we tend to blame ourselves, even on a subconscious level.
Yeah.
Because you don't understand as a child what's going on. You grow up with it. And it's not until you reach adulthood that it's like, okay, let me look at why I'm trying to repeat these same patterns in my relationships that we dealt with as children, and it can be a fear of commitment. Are you 100% in? Are you really able to say, you know what? Fuck it. I am 1,000% in. There's always a chance of getting hurt, right? There's always a chance of getting going bad, but what if it can go right? And if within us, there is something that we're not being fully open on and vulnerable and 100% committed, right?
Yes.
We're going to attract people who are scared shitless to settle down.
And wonder where it came from because we're not into the moment. Yeah.
On the surface level, but we're like, what's going on? I want a commitment. Like, I can see myself with someone else at some point. You know what I mean? Like, not saying that we're going to settle for anyone because we don't, again, there's plenty of options. We're single, not with a lack of options. But then part of that is, are we giving the right people a chance, or are we out of self-sabotage and fear that it could actually work? Because right now we're good. We've got great careers. We've got our shit together. We are balanced. We're happy. We enjoy being single. We've reached that point of just exhale, where you can do whatever the fuck you want with whoever you go out with your friends, or stay in bed all day, have DoorDash deliver your food, and grab a bottle of wine, drink it out of the fucking bottle if you'd like. No one. I guess my point is,
don't tell my business, okay? Don't tell my business.
Mine too. So it's like we get to that point where then it's a different kind of fear, because like, okay, well, if we let someone in, ooh, I don't know. I don't know. I worked so fucking hard to get to this point after all of the heartbreak,
Mm,
all of the shit, and all of the hurt that
mm,
others have put me through, but also that I've allowed them to put me through, right?
yep.
Then we start, they know how to sucker me into giving them fun dip when I'm on live because I can't fight with them. Okay. Um, totally lost my train of thought. Yes, if we, get to that point of being good on our own, we're really apprehensive about letting someone else in, but
Mm.
it's different. It's a different face of the fear, so to speak. So then that leads us to picking people or options that come in that are also not really fully invested.
Wow. And this gets to another topic we wanted to talk about. Yes, Rebel, you're right. There can still be feelings of inadequacy even with both parents. It's really about self-image.
Yep.
It's about identity, what we're essentially talking about. But you essentially give us a segue, lady, to like codependency and independence, right? Because one of my good friends, Kim, she's amazing. She explained to me one day, she was like, boundaries and barriers are different. Barriers have no windows, no doors, nothing. Ain't nobody getting through barriers. But boundaries are like, gates with, oh, I can open and let people in and let people out. They're still able to be crossed
Right.
because they're boundaries, right? The same way that my neighbor and I have yards and we know where this fence is, that's yours and this is mine. We can come and say hi to each other. We can open the door and walk through if we're invited. But I think what happens is when you've been done wrong, when you've had trauma in your life, when you've seen outcomes that are undesirable, you then decide, I'm gonna put up barriers instead of boundaries. Or you put up boundaries and you feel guilty for it because you've never had them before. And people that you have known a long time then say, well, what's her problem? What's his problem? They put up boundaries. This isn't fair, because they're now seeing that you've learned some self-respect, you've learned some responsibility, and this is mine, that's yours. I'm only responsible for what's mine, girl. So then we get into all the things we've been talking about so far, right? You get into, okay, what I attract, I have some responsibility in. But the only responsibility I have in what happens now is in my reaction to it, in my response. What am I going to do about it? Right? Or if I have a trigger, what am I going to do about the trigger? Am I going to point at the person that's triggering me? Or am I going to figure out what's going on inside of myself that I need to heal?
Yeah. And I'll tell you, back in the day, if I was triggered, ooh,
Honey,
that was not
Yep.
cute. Not cute. So another thing that we've talked about, we'll jump to that in a minute.
Yeah.
But going back to the barriers, you mentioned the barriers versus boundaries. I know one thing that I've been guilty of, and I'm working really fucking hard. Like, it takes a lot of effort because I've now, my defense mechanism
Mhm.
is, my barriers are so high. I have a hard time believing that people won't hurt us. And we talked about this yesterday, Alicia, whether
Yeah.
it's platonic, romantic, whatever. I've been done wrong by some of the people that I thought were my best friends. I have been cheated on, let's say starting with my husband, my ex-husband, and every relationship that I've been in since.
Mm.
And I'm like, how, you know what I mean? Like, this is where we started thinking and talking about, okay, well, what is it that I'm attracting? And not what I'm attracting. It's not what I'm attracting. It's what I'm choosing from that. But
Yeah.
you also have to be really careful that you don't get to the point where you make people from now going forward, jump through ridiculous hoops
Right.
to show you that they're sincere.
Right.
And that's a struggle. I'm going to be honest. I'm still struggling with that one. So we'll figure out how to get through that one
I think you brought up the key on your intimate full moon reading, your live the other day, because you were talking about fear versus intuition, right? Triggers versus intuition. How do we know the difference? And I was thinking about this today. I was thinking about, for all those people out there that believe in twin flames, or that there's one person for you, you know, we all call it different things. And I was thinking about this. I have my natural self, the 3D self that everybody can see, touch, talk to. So does another person. So do you, as my soulmate sister, right? We both have higher selves as well that we have to tap into and listen to and get our emotions under control. And essentially we have to submit our 3D self to in order to listen to and understand, right? So then I think about, how do we know when we meet somebody? When there's that, if it's fear, if it's judgment, right? There's a whole basket here: fear, judgment, apprehension, whatever, right? Or if our intuition is telling us something. And what's funny is, one question I think we need to start asking ourselves, and this is all up there, all in my ear now, like, yes, listen. One thing that we need to ask ourselves is, am I seeing their higher self or their 3D self? Which one am I reacting to or paying attention to right now? And which of mine is the one responding and reacting, right? Because if it's my 3D self, it's gonna be affected by emotion, judgment, belief system, mood that I'm in, you know, all of that. But the higher self is gonna be objective. The higher self is gonna say, listen, this is for you or this is not for you. This is for you for this reason and not for those. You know, like, you can do that because all of that longing and all of that emotional crap is not in the way. Absolutely. And I also think we have to be careful when we are spiritual beings that are maturing. Not everybody's spiritually awake. Not everybody cares about spirituality. Some aren't even believers in anything. And so when you are one of those people, and when you're called, like you and I are, to be healers, to be empowerers, to you know, this is our purpose, we always see the higher self in everybody. We see their potential, we see their spirit, yes. But we're forgetting, and this is where I'm about to get dragged big time. We're forgetting there's two different pools. There's a pool of people that you help and you empower and you help heal. And there's a pool that you look for dates from. You don't mix the two pools.
No.
Girl, say it again.
Someone's potential and not what they're showing you, and how they're showing up is way fucking different. And when we get into that seeing their potential, I don't know if you guys have seen that meme where it's like, you know, the spirit guides are like, stay away from them. And you're like, but I see the light in them. And you're walking yourself right into the trap. Exactly. Yep. Stay away from the light. Stay away from the light. Don't do it. So it's, again, you know, here's the other thing. Some people are so focused on being in a relationship or finding their person, or that it's like they look at people with rose-colored glasses on, and that is where we start. That's where the problems start. Because if we're being real with what we're seeing and who this person truly is, we all have our higher selves in the 5D and all of that. But like you said, not everyone is awakened. And
wow,
if you're so focused on the relationship part of it, you're going to fuck yourself up. You're going to be putting yourself through. Oh, they're saying the things that make my inner insecurities. It settles. What their words sound great.
Yeah.
Right? But if their actions aren't adding up and matching up to what they're saying, we can easily choose to be fooled
Yeah.
and go with that because it's like, oh, well, they seem like a pretty decent option, but it's so much more than that.
Mm. Honey.
Ask session has commenced.
Honey. I keep hearing worth. I keep hearing worth, worth, worth. It's all about worth. Self-worth, what is worth your energy and your time and your effort. It's like we have to learn our worth and how to spend it wisely. That's serious spiritual maturity and emotional maturity at that. It takes a lot of practice. They keep making me pay attention to the elements, right? To fire signs, earth signs, air signs, and water signs. For fire signs and water signs, that can be very difficult. The things we're talking about, when you got a lot of fire in your chart or a lot of water in your chart,
The emotions, the passion, all of it.
all of that emotion, passion, drive, desire, connection, wanting to help people, all of that can really be a distraction. And if it's not a flaw, that's another thing I want to point out. It's not a flaw. And like you said, it's not always about attracting, it's sometimes choice. So recognizing it's not a flaw because there's some beauty. I mean, hello, fire signs get some stuff done. And water signs can really, really heal some people and help some people out, right? So like, it's not a flaw, but it's being willing to embrace, this is who I am and this is worth a lot. And so I need to be able to be still. And hello, Aries like to do stuff. It's me, I'm Aries. Aries likes to, and then think later. And a lot of times it's after they have taken their ram into a doggone brick wall and see a tiny little bit of blood that it's like, oh, but I got the wall down. You're welcome. But and it's, girl, man, it's like, you and I were talking about our charts yesterday and how, for example, we both have a lot of fire. Hello, a lot of fire in our charts. But then I've got this Pisces moon that is completely against all the other fire. And it's like, look, when you guys are done burning everything up, I'm gonna sit here and come, like being willing and able, however you want to describe it, through whether it's through astrology or through personality tests or Myers-Briggs letters, whatever, right? All these elements of our being and recognizing how to be a whole person. Like it really is about self-work and self-love and self-healing.
It is.
And man.
And so you brought up another good point too, is, people think that once you start valuing yourself, you're automatically cocky or you've got this ego. And it's like, no, I know what I bring to the table. I know what I'm worth because I've paid dearly for every single fucking ounce of where I've gotten.
Yes.
It's taken blood, sweat, and tears, and I'm not even talking about on a financial or business or, earthly plane type of successes, right?
Ooh, honey, talk. Yes.
Really knowing my heart and knowing that it's pure and knowing I, honest to God, don't wish anyone else any type of harm, even those people that have hurt me to the core have basically, I'll say, like, not destroyed me because it's gotten me to be the person that I am today.
Right.
I am so grateful to those people because I wouldn't be me right now. I wouldn't be on this journey.
Man.
So when you see, I am actually an amazing fucking soul inside and out. It doesn't matter what other people think of me. I will continue to be me. I will continue to be vulnerable and open. And you know what? It might set me up to get hurt, but at the same time, if I'm not doing that, are we being really honest with what it is that we truly desire?
Mhm.
Because one of the things that we talked about, Alicia, was how I've been in that mode of I'm good alone. I'm good. I'm happy. I'm doing things for me for the first time in my life, really. I met my husband when I was 17. I didn't get to do all of those things that you're supposed to do in your teenage and early 20s and being, all the stupid decisions and focusing on me. I went into being a wife, a mother, work, school, all of it.
Yeah.
Now it's been one of those things where, you really have to say, yes, I'm good alone. Do I crave a partner? I'm fine with or without one, right? But deep down, we're human. We are meant
Yeah.
to have those soul connections and to share our lives with someone. And doesn't mean that that you have to be with someone, because that's what we have our soul family, our friends, our tribe for, right? To give
Yeah.
that unconditional love in different ways. But
Yeah.
it's also about not shutting yourself off to what you truly want.
Yeah. And we've got to get out of the habit as a society of teaching only selflessness.
Right.
This is really dangerous. And you and I both come from Christian childhood, very religious, not spiritual,
Spiritual.
concepts of the higher power, of the universe, of God, of angels, of what is actually a practice of, all of that. And so many of those teach you everybody else first.
Yes.
So what happens is you walk into churches, meetings, groups, communities full of people who are all strained, drained, spread too thin, and nobody is giving from a place of wholeness. Mm-hmm. And if they are, they're not teaching others to be whole, because they're teaching even those people to depend on them.
Exactly. That codependency.
Yes, it's so dangerous. And then you wonder, you hear people in generations above us like, what's wrong with that generation? And it's like, what? Remember what you showed them. Remember what you modeled. Remember what you taught. Remember what you made them need and crave from you. We're supposed to be raising people and helping our peers be competent on their own and to have their own relationship in their own way, because we're not the freaking same, right? And so a lot of what we're talking about, I just wanted to bring that up because I feel like Spirit keeps saying, sometimes that's the presupposition. Sometimes it's a preface, right? To doing any of this work. Some people don't even believe that they need to take care of themselves. Some people are so used to putting everybody else first, but not even having a plate to serve from. So they think they're serving, but you're transferring unresolved conflict to other people. You're transferring stuff that's not whole. And so I really wanted to say that to free somebody of that mental prison of, I don't matter. It's lie. It's bullshit. It's such a lie. And it's such a lie that self-care is selfish.
It's not. It's necessary.
It's necessary. And it's actually one of the most selfless things you could do, really.
Yeah.
Is take care of yourself. It sounds like a crazy dichotomy and an oxymoron, but as single mothers, you and I really have to do this every week and experience. If I'm not well and I'm not happy and I'm not full and healthy, I can't even be a good mom to him.
No, because then you get cranky, you're short, you're irritable, you're like, go, just leave me alone, go away. And that's the thing, for the longest time, I felt guilty.
Yeah, I know.
To take time to do everything for myself. I felt like I was being a bad mom or a bad partner or a bad daughter or a bad whatever if I took the time for myself to really focus on me, and not focus on me like just be selfish, but what makes you you? What makes you happy?
Yes.
Who are you? Truly. Who are you? What do you enjoy doing? And the biggest thing for me, and it's another thing that we talked about, Alicia, was looking back at how much we've grown and where we have gone, you know, and I get, you guys, I get a little teary-eyed.
Yeah, for sure.
Because man, I am so fucking proud of where I'm at and what I've gone through in my life. And
That's it.
I'll tell you guys, when I first got divorced, I had a friend, that came over and we were sitting there talking, and they're like, what do you enjoy doing?
Mm.
What makes you happy? And I couldn't answer that. I had no clue. And when you get to that point where you're constantly giving to everyone else, you lose yourself. And that's something that what's the point of living? Have that, really, truly, we're all here for a certain purpose. Each one of us has a specific life purpose.
Yeah.
And if you don't know yourself, and if you're not working to heal yourself, there's no fucking way that you can live up to that purpose, or that what were you put here to do? Because I can tell you, it wasn't just to fucking work, pay your bills, and then die. There's a purpose.
Yep. So I don't know. I know that we need to pull some stuff. Yes. I've been sensing it, but I've been trying to listen for what we're pulling for.
Sorry guys, I'm trying to get my computer to not die on me.
You're good.
So here's the thing, we're all going through different things, yeah. Right? There's none of us that are at the same cycle or at the same place.
That's right.
But I'm feeling like the guidance that we give can be applied in so many different ways, so many different situations. Mm-hmm. I'm really feeling like we need some oracle cards to help give some guidance and some advice from spirit for the collective, for those watching now and those that will be watching later. Like, how do we deal? We're identifying what we need to work on, but what advice does spirit and our guides have for us? Part of also, all right, I don't know why they're bringing up ancestors.
That's funny. I heard Gene, and I was like, what?
What? Yeah. We're at a time where unity consciousness is raising. And this is something we also talked about, Alicia, where there's the separation of those who are awakened or are awakening and willing to do that work, and those who refuse to change. And so I feel like the divide is getting even bigger between those two groups. But yeah. As we, like right now, we were put here, and I can't spit my words out right now. Part of it is to heal those generational cycles and traumas.
Jinx. Yep.
So, and that's a shit ton of work. That's a lot of work, and that's a lot of pain and a lot of healing. But as we heal those ancestral patterns, we heal going forward for the future generations and our children and their children's children.
Yeah.
And just think, with all of that, Can you imagine the rewards that we're going to get spiritually for breaking all of those chains? Our ancestors are all behind us. They're part of our guides. They form our spiritual team. And they're all rooting for us and leading us and guiding us and showing where we have to go and what it is that we need to work on. And that's a lot of the times why they wake us up a million fucking times in the middle of the night, because we're too busy running around. We're our monkey brain is going and we can't shut it off, right? Because we're worried about this or we're overthinking that. And it's really like taking time to meditate as well during the day would also help. I don't know who needed to hear that, but there you go. Probably talking to myself. But they're talking to us, so we have to listen, and we have to be willing to listen in order to keep going and getting through those.
I just heard, okay, this is so silly and I don't care. I'm learning to just say it, but hey, girl, Frozen 2 had some damn deep diving messages in it. I'm not going to go through the movie, but they're reminding me of those elements. Remember, I brought up the elements earlier and I was like, why am I, okay. And it keeps coming back, and genes and elements and ancestors and elements and the truth. And that Frozen 2 is really very much about, right, being connected to ancestors, how they guide us and they leave breadcrumbs and whatnot. And so fire, water, earth, and air. And then we know okay, spoiler alert, Frozen 2 spoiler alert, there's the fifth one, right? And it's the spirit that connects the realms together. And for many of us, we have that in mediumship, we have it in clairvoyance and clairaudience and clairsentient and claircognizant, in whatever we got. I'm getting a channel.
Yeah.
Wow, they just say so much to me. They're saying so much. So they're saying two things. Trying to slow down, please. One is your channel, Turquoise Empress 22, and my channel, A Spirit Songbird, are for channeling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're for channeling. So we have to keep that a part of what we do. If we do reads or whatever, we have to remember to always listen to ancestors and channel, because everything's intentional. And then the other thing is, we need to read now with guidance for the 4 elements.
Okay.
Because our world, our earth, I even think about African spirituality with orishas and everything, has a lot to do with the elements. And we're in this powerful manifesting time right now, this year, and especially this time of the year. You can feel it. There's this heavy manifesting power that's going on. And when we manifest with all 4 suits, right? All 4 suits in the tarot, all 4 elements.
Yes.
We use all that we have. And so I think that's the way to go.
They're bringing up Neptune again.
We gotta learn about Neptune, dude.
So I am not an astrologer. I try to dabble in it a little bit and end up getting confused, especially when we're talking about, well, is this Vedic? Is it not? Or like, long story short, I forgot to tell you too. So yesterday I sent Alicia a message and I said, they're bringing up Neptune. I don't know why. And I kept feeling like something in June, whatever. There's something going on now. So I know Neptune is in Pisces and it goes retrograde June 22nd, right? Was it June 22nd that I said?
Yes.
But there's also Neptune. The only thing I keep hearing, there's a malefic quality to Neptune as well. So things aren't always as they're appearing right now. So you have to be careful. Okay, so they're telling me to say it like this. Right now, some things that we are freaking out about that we're like, nope, this, I don't think I can do this. This doesn't, seem like this is a right fit actually really is. And then we're like, oh, this is like a freaking amazing opportunity. This is everything I've ever wanted. Be careful. It may not be.
Yep.
Or there's deeper lessons that you need to get through. And then about 20 minutes after I sent you that message, I was driving and I see a truck that says Neptune and it had the trident on it. So this is also going into, they're bringing up Atlantis as well. So a lot of this is like you said at the beginning, where we're really healing all of those past life issues and things that we keep repeating lifetime after lifetime.
Wow. And then I heard you say, not as they appear, they showed me that driver's side view mirror, right? Objects in the mirror are closer than they appear. And I thought about the smoke that you and I were talking about, and how in 2020, you know, there's all the corny things we can say, 2020 vision, hindsight's 2020, clarity, all of that. But it really is true. The smoke's being cleared, the fog's being lifted, and we're going to be able to have so much revelation this year. And so I think why they keep bringing up Neptune is what you were saying Neptune is about, right? And knowing in your chart what house is associated with Neptune and all that stuff, because that's where the fog's being lifted. That's where things, it's almost like, and I'm getting excited now, I'm getting excited vibes all over. Like, it's almost like the things you've been trying to manifest and dreaming of and wanting to see come into fruition, they're closer than they appear.
Yes.
Okay, because you can't see clearly right now. And so we have to be in that freaking yin, right? Divine feminine right now, honey, she is not playing games. Like, just the feminine in our whole universe right now is very much like enough is enough.
Yep.
You know, enough is enough. Time to birth these things. Time to no longer have all push and oppressive, distorted, hegemonic power of the masculine that's being essentially cured, healed, whatever, changed, you know. I think we really need to be paying attention to just how much we don't know about what it is that is trying to manifest.
Well, it's like they're purposely kind of hiding it from us. And I've said this before, so we don't fuck it up. And you're right, it is closer than we think or we can even imagine.
Yeah.
Like, we have to release that control and actually flow with it. And just like, okay, I'm open, I'm willing, I'm gonna jump in. And I've been saying, like, jump. The universe will catch you. But you have faith. You have to be willing to say, you know what? Fuck it. I'm all in. I'm all in. Let's do it. And you mentioned something about the feminines, the divine feminines. We're definitely on this path of ascension and growing and healing. But I also feel divine masculines, even the masculine within us, is going through a major change, right? Because we all have masculine and feminine within us.
Yeah.
I'm truly feeling that divine masculines as a collective are really now starting their process of that healing and the ascension. And
wow.
I know for a lot of us, we've actually been feeling our divine masculine a lot more than we ever have, right? And we talked about it yesterday, where we feel like we're feeling that shit fucking crazy, because you're like, I feel their energy. I can feel them. I can sense them. And it's pretty funny because we talked about how sometimes our divine masculine in the 5D will actually be playing cock blocker, because they're like, no, no, I'm coming. It's happening sooner than you think. I'm here and you're not fucking going anywhere.
And you know, you and I said that they were going to try to come on through and say some things. I just heard, I wish I could say it exactly how I heard it. Let me see. You said that the masculine within us is going through a change and ascending, and the feminine is ascending, it's like I heard, how did they say it? Because we stepped out of masculine within and into feminine, masculine now can come externally. It's like, yes, it's like if you're meant to be this, right? Then there has to be space for these fingers to fit in, right? It can't be like that. So if it's like, I'm gonna do all these things, I'm gonna be all of this all the time. Not to say we're not whole people. I don't believe in you're my other half. That's bullcrap. No. But I'm saying, if I'm saying that I want a certain energy to come in, I need to make space for it. And if I'm fighting someone for that space, this is how it's going to be. And so it's like, wow, a reason that the masculine within has been changing is because it's being shifted.
Yes. And
it's
so
that the feminine in them is being shifted.
Yeah. And it's almost like they've been waiting for us to catch up on a certain level.
Don't say that anymore. I don't like hearing that.
It pisses me the fuck off too, because I'm like, wait, what? Bitch, I've been waiting for you. And we talked about this before, where I got legitimately pissed at my masculine the other day because I'm like, enough. Go the fuck away or come correct. Okay, where are you in the 3D?
Oh man.
I think I was watching Missy at Saltwater Heels. I don't remember if it was a YouTube or a live, where she's like, there's no more fucking Blues Cluesing this shit. Step up or step the fuck out of the way. And that's exactly it. It's like, stop channeling the messages. Stop giving me all of this shit in the 5D. You're driving me fucking crazy. I can smell you. I can feel you, but you're not around. So enough already. Like, come on. Either do it or don't. Or come to my wedding when I marry someone else. It's fine. Either way.
All right. So we're breaking cycles for reunion. For reunion with our soul tribe, for reunion with our soulmate, divine counterpart, whatever words you use. So I guess we're gonna get some guidance for each group: fire signs, water signs, earth signs, air signs.
Yep.
On how to break the cycle. Tell me what you're hearing.
I'm making them feel like they want a collective and not so much a per sign right now.
Cool. Maybe some little hints will come out because they just keep saying elements. So maybe as we're getting messages.
Well, we all have all elements in us, right?
Yes.
So
I guess it's more so recognizing them in moments, even, you know, what element right now. It's kind of what we talked about with the triggers. It's triggers, the wounds we're facing, the higher self. I think we need to, and as I'm saying this, I'm staring at the word air all of a sudden on my MacBook. I think sometimes we need to be more aware, I guess is what is coming through, of the elements in our day-to-day and in our decision making, to make sure that even those are balanced, right? That it's not all air, it's not all thought and intellect, and you know, it's not all earth, just practicality and all of that. It's not just fire, desire, and passion, spirituality, and it's not all emotion and connection. You know, that kind of might be why they're going to come up. But I know as we read, it's going to make sense.
Yeah, but this one flew up. I was just shuffling.
Okay.
And we talked about our purpose earlier. A lot of us are meant to be teachers and healers and help others, right? What is your purpose? Follow that path. Look, I also feel like it's number 11 too, with a 38. And it's all about those mirrors as well. Follow your purpose. what gives you that joy inside.
I love it. Follow your purpose. Follow your purpose. It's your GPS.
Yes. I want to know what advice, how can we continue to break those cycles and make better choices? What is it that we need to focus on?
Speak out. Communicate to resolve the conflicts. It's time to speak from the heart. Let those, in those triggering moments, speak. Communicate. Don't be afraid of conflict. I think that's something that a lot of times happens is we get afraid to confront, encounter. Yeah, we get scared of it getting out of hand. And in lieu of the whole elements moment we're talking about, sometimes it's recognizing through a dynamic with somebody which element is in excess, right? Oh, hello. Right? It could be, okay, with this person I have a conflict with, it's all heated and it's all passion. Okay, so maybe we need to tap into a different part of ourselves together to have this conversation. This conversation. But we have to speak out, because if we suppress things, we're going to attract more of it. If we ignore things, it's going to come back. Self-control. Wow.
Control everything, right? And we're trying to control ourselves. We're trying to control our emotions. We feel guilty for feeling certain things or thinking certain things. And if we're not, again, being honest with ourselves, you can't be honest with others, and you fall back into that people-pleasing mode.
Yeah. Shadow. Oh, subconscious, baby.
Subconscious, feeling that the inner shadows and that inner child. You know, this is really feeling like that inner child down there for me. You know, we were meant to be, look, teachers and healers, and those are the two cards that came out. Yes.
You're unique.
Yes.
Unique situation, right? Be yourself. Everyone else is taken. I love how in that card you just showed that inner child is holding up a heart. Yes. And the dog is like, me, ego, right? It's like, you're unique. And the other two that came out, girl, wow. Look what's under here. Ending trauma. Ending trauma. Transform memories and symptoms. Transform trauma into power. Trauma to triumph.
Yes, don't get stuck in that victim mode of, well, this has happened to me, that's happened to me. How can you take those lessons and really say, like, okay, these things don't happen to me, they happen for me.
Yes.
Right? And what can
Sorry.
Oh, I
was just saying, as you're saying that, look at that light that just comes out of it. Like, sometimes, yeah, like you said, it happens for us. It happens for us to bring something out of us, you know? And I love this card, simple pleasures. Yes. The simple things, like your children walking in on the video, right? Like the simple pleasures.
And, you know, kids have such like that energetic, like love and light and just that joyful energy. And that goes back to healing that inner child.
Absolutely.
I'm hearing a lot of forgiveness for what for ourselves, first and foremost, and then for others. Yeah. It could be a compromise between our shadow and our light side, right? Because you can't be all light and you really shouldn't be all dark, but there are some people, okay? We just stay away from them. But it's really a balance. It's that yin and yang. It's that balancing and compromising within ourselves as to what our boundaries are, what our barriers are, what are our deal breakers for everything across the board, right?
Yeah. I felt led to pick up this Native Spirit Oracle deck. And so we were talking a lot about ancestors, genes, cycles that are from them. Yes, imagination. Inner child, absolutely, absolutely. Yep, confirmation.
At the bottom of the
We were talking about ancestors and cycles, right? Generations. And so this native spirit deck was calling out to me. Oh gosh, girl, we were just talking about this. Look what came out. Shapeshifter. And with Shapeshifter, Warrior of the Heart, and Spirit of Fire. I mean, look at these. They look like 3 elements, right?
Ooh, I'm feeling heavy masculine energy coming from those cards.
Yep. It's the masculine is changing shape. It's having to adapt. It's having to learn how to be more malleable, more flexible. Oh, and there's a deer in there. You see that deer?
Freaking beautiful. And the full moon.
Yep. Yep.
Ooh, the sun and the moon.
Yeah, and we know the moon represents that subconscious, like you were saying, that shadow, that. And look at this in the middle. It's beautiful, even imagery of emerging warrior, but of the what? The heart. You know? It's kind of like, can we redirect all that masculine energy?
Lisa, what did you say? End of a 12-year cycle. Tess feels like to be able to stay put while those old patterns come. Yes. I don't know if you guys don't follow me on Instagram. Go check it out. I definitely put up a couple of posts recently where I really truly feel like we're at a point where spirit is bringing us all of these old patterns and people and ways of thinking so that we can finally like put the kibosh on it once and for all. Mm-hmm. Because it's like we're in that. I was talking about being pregnant the other night, as far as that feeling of knowing something's coming, you just don't know when or how or whatever. But this is like you're in the birth canal trying to be reborn, so to speak. And that is when everything starts getting more, the universe starts squeezing you, like, come on, you get those contractions, like, come on, bitch. It's pointing us in the direction that we're supposed to be going. Now, it's again going to go back to those choices that we need to make. Are we going to self-sabotage? Are we going to choose the same options? Are we going to decide to get back into a toxic cycle with someone or another cycle? And listen, I'm not here to judge anyone. Sometimes we need to learn the same lesson a few times over before we hit that brick wall, like you were saying earlier, Alicia, enough to where like, I'm good, got it. You're not doing that one again.
No.
So it's those choices, and you're right. It's definitely about evaporating those old patterns for good.
Oh, Elisa said fidgety. Yeah, it's kind of like this squirming under pressure, you know, learning to let go, to surrender to it, to surrender to the changes, to let spirit do what spirit needs to do. Like, get out of the way, get out of your own way. And that fidgety, there's two things I feel like that come out of fidgety energy. There's the anxiety, anticipation, right? The anxiety of like, oh, something's coming and I have no control over it, right? Oh, I don't know what this is gonna be. And then there's also like the excitement of, okay, so something's coming. You know, it's the same kind of like a fidgety, like I know something's coming, I don't know what it is, I'm excited, I can feel it. What do I do with this energy? Where do I put it? And it's like, put it, like you said, follow that path and that purpose. Continue to put all that focus, all that energy, all that passion and drive into what you already have been doing. Keep going.
Keep going, don't stop. And don't be like, well, I can feel it, but I don't see it. So it must, must not be coming, or I must be batshit crazy or whatever. No, it's staying in that same vibe and just knowing that we truly don't have control over it, right? Everything happens in divine timing. So there's no need to stress. There's no need to worry. There's no need to freak out, which I'm fully aware we all do, right? Because we're human. But it's about shutting that monkey brain off. Like, okay, what the hell am I freaking out about? Because if this doesn't happen, then it wasn't meant to be. It wasn't meant to
Right.
happen. And everything happens for a reason.
Yes. Yes.
They tell me to look at the bottom of the deck. The presence of love will always cast out fear.
Wow, wow, wow.
We have two choices with how we approach everything in life. And that's, do we choose that love side where we have the hope, the faith? Because either you believe in spirit and your guides and God or whatever it is that you believe in, or you don't. And if you do, then what are you worried about?
Right.
Why the anxiety? Why are you freaking out? Because you know that everything happens the way it's supposed to. You can't have both love and fear. You have to make your choices out of one or the other.
They keep pushing me to these elements, and I kept going, why? And I get it. I get it. Everything can be motivated by love or fear in any aspect of ourselves. And again, it was in Frozen 2. That's how they just showed me that scene, girl. But am I using my fire for love and motivated by love, or is it through fear, right? Am I connecting to people, right? Here's the water. Am I connecting to people out of love or out of fear? That kind of shows that same thing we talked about, right? Out of fear is going to be codependency. Out of love is going to be, I'm going to play this thing out, put my toes in the water, see what happens, right?
Also realizing that love is not about attachment. We have this thing within us where it's like, well, I love them, they're mine. Mine. The fuck no. People have you can't control and you don't own anyone, right? So you have two choices at that point. You accept or reject how they treat you, how they show you that you're a priority to them as well. And it's a mutual reciprocal type of energy. But if you have to be worried about what someone is doing when you're not with them or feel the need to control, that's not love. That is attachment. Unconditional love means I can love you a hell of a lot. You can mean the world to me. But if you're not good for me, that's where those boundaries come in as well.
Yes.
So it's not about that attachment.
Yes.
Unconditional love is really allowing things to flow.
It's what Maya Angelou used to say, love liberates.
Yes.
Yeah, love lets people be free to be themselves. And I heard unconditional love is I love you whether you're attached to me or not. You know, that's where my love is really tested. Do I really love you, you know? And so, yeah, we use things either out of love or out of fear. You know, are you using your mind? I'm thinking about, sorry, I was trying not to bring this up, but they keep nudging me. This virus going around right now. I was thinking about how people right now, it's like,
they're freaking the fuck out.
There's so much fear. And so they're doing stuff out of fear. You know, there's practicality. And this is where we get to, you know, earth, right? The earth energy and element. We do things that are practical, but we need to do them out of love. And love doesn't panic.
Right.
Right? Love is hope, faith, and assurance. And so love says, love is not going to the store and buying every part of the sanitizer on the freaking shelf so nobody else has it. That's
or
fear.
So then, like their ass, unless they have washcloths. Just saying.
I mean, you know, it's what's motivating you, right? That's the question. And it's funny. I haven't said this out loud, and I'm gonna say it now. Woo! Okay, you'll get this too. When I first heard the name of the virus, do you know what came to me? Immediately. What does corona mean?
Crown.
And the crown chakra, I mean, it came like that. And I was like, And
Yep. So here's the thing.
go ahead.
Coronavirus, there's multiple strands of this coronavirus. That has been not this one, but there has been different strands for years and years and years. And so it's like, we have, and I don't want to get too far into this, but
Yeah.
All of these different viruses, rhinovirus, enterovirus, we have influenza, we have all of these things that have been around, but it's that fear, people going into that lower vibration of fear. And then you have people reacting in two different ways. One, there's like that selfish, like, I need to hoard all of this shit. I need to buy all the water. I need to quarantine myself. I need to blah, 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 fill in the blank. And then you have the other extreme where people are like, I'm not doing shit and fuck it. But you have to still take precautions as you would, because you can put other people at risk. Maybe you're not in those ages where it's a concern, but what if you take it home to your grandparents or your, a child in the family or something? So it's all about balance. And again, there's so many people within that. Like I was saying earlier, you have the awakened and the unawakened, and the divide. It's just like, they just keep showing me like this, like it's like there's a separation.
And love motivates. Do you get it right? It's kind of like, because I think sometimes we want so many practical measures that we understand. We want to be in air all the time. We want to be in, it makes sense. I can plan it. I can understand it. Let's intellectualize, argue, battle of the minds, right? But the problem is, it kind of goes back to biblical stuff is what I think of, but fruit of the spirit, it goes back to, what does the spirit look like when it's manifested, right? It's love, hope, and joy, and faith, and goodness, and kindness, and all of this light. It's love and light, right? So instead of chasing love and light and trying to understand how to be loving and how to be light, just be in tune with spirit and listen and be led from a place that is the spirit, your higher self, and spirit as the big, big, big being that it is. And then I think about, the reason I was bringing up that crown thing was like, our thoughts are so freaking powerful. And all that's been going on in our world for many years in our life, in this generation, I should say, the last 10, 15, 20 years, it's all the same spirit of fear that keeps manifesting itself. These are not new happenings. Anything, the presidential stuff is not new. All of the politics, they're not new. The social things and division and discord, it's not new. Nothing's new under the sun. Mm-hmm. And our spirit guides, angels, ancestors aren't like, oh, they're like, oh yeah, that reminds me of this time when we had to do that thing and that was happening. And so I brought up the crown and it made sense to me. It was like spirit was like, because I had prayed about it, like, should I be worried about this? What's going on? What is it? And spirit was like, what does corona mean? And right away it made me go to, what are you thinking about? Mm-hmm. How is this affecting your thought pattern? Because again, this is triggering people. This is now, we were talking microcosm earlier, right? Each of our individual triggers, but the world's being triggered by things and trauma's being brought up.
Yep. And I almost feel like, there was also a huge trigger, and I definitely don't want to go into this, but just to mention, with Kobe Bryant's death.
Absolutely.
So many people got triggered. And I feel like that was a moment for people to be like, it doesn't matter what you have materially in this world. No one is guaranteed anything in life. So what are you going to, what are you going to focus on? All of the money in the world, all of the wealth, the whatever, we still have no control. So if we're stuck on bullshit, you still don't know what can happen. Let's say this is the last day you're here, which God forbid, not saying. But how do you want to live? I guess my point is, live every moment and every day as if it's your last. Tell those people that matter to you that they matter, that you care. Instead of living in that, right? Because it also goes back to loving isn't about being attached. So I can tell you that I love you. Again, platonic, family, whatever that looks like. And I don't have to worry about your response because I'm telling you, because I'm being true to myself with how I feel.
Yeah.
And your reaction should not impact me.
It's huge. It's huge. It's a universal reframing of perspective on everything. You know, it's like, pay attention. Here, I'm gonna make this thing.
Your guys are a lot nicer. Bitch, wake up. Take a fucking seat. Look at what you're doing. Look at what's going on.
Yeah.
And get your shit together. Stop focusing on shit from the past and who hurt you and what happened and what you've been through. Like, we've all been through shit in one way or the other. It has all, yeah.
Ooh, look at Elisa's comment here. Yes, embody spirit in the crown. You better speak, ma'am.
Yes, girl.
And then she said, alchemy, using all the elements in affirmation, having the courage and love to meet in excess. Yes, with another excess. Yes, yes. It's
are abundant. So that's all that we're going to, well, that's what we're attracting. Again, like I said earlier, the moths and the butterflies, choose fucking wisely.
I love that. I love that. And you know what moths do? Chew up all your freaking clothes and we don't want those. We want the butterflies. We want the love and the transformed people.
Yes, transform people. And that's exactly it. Those who have been through the shit, but choose to look within themselves and are trying to learn and grow and walking their path as well.
Look, girl, look at these real quick. Sorry, this just blew my mind. So the Red Fox of Strategy, which we talked about yesterday, that came out, and Wolverine came out. And what I'm hearing as a channel message is, know where you're going, right? Know the strategy, the plan, your path, your purpose, what's been laid out for you. And know that you can heal. Know that you're fierce enough to have the healing, resurrecting, restoring, reviving, rebirthing power within yourself, right? You are powerful. Look at this fierceness. I think we are starting to learn this now as a whole race of human beings, right? I keep emphasizing being in my life right now because we're not human doings, we're human beings. But that all this, like you said, you saw this, we're learning, you can heal that within you as a people. You can heal the division and you can wake each other up through love, through your own awareness, you know? Woo! I'm getting excited.
And here's the other thing that you mentioned with that too, about being able to heal.
Yeah.
I spoke about our really big heartbreak. And then since that time where we've opened ourselves up and become vulnerable, we've been able to see a lot sooner, this isn't for me. And not only that, but not being hurt or devastated by it. We're like, all right, well, that didn't go according to plan, but it really did, because every single person that is brought to us is for us to learn something from. And there are mirrors, right? That reflect back to us, like we were talking about earlier. So it's like, what do I see in them that triggers me? Because that's what I need to work on.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
All right, so I need to show you guys these cards, and then I'll let you see what you've got over there. We're talking about how we want to feel, honoring that. What is it that you want?
Wow.
We're focused on what we don't want and what we're not going to put up with, and we're this and whatever, in regards to our own personal life, in regards to relationships, whatever. it's not, how can I put this? It's not what you feel for someone else, it's how they make you feel. And that should be a very good guide as to whether they deserve a spot in your life.
Mm.
Do you want to feel anxiety and stress, and who are they talking to, or what are they doing? Or in the case of a parent, well, shit, they're always on my back. And, you know, a lot of times we have toxic family members as well. And people feel obliged to keep those people around. But really, when you learn to set boundaries, I'm talking about across the fucking board, family, friends, love interests, partners. Alicia and I had spoken about friends as well, because we've started to set those boundaries, because we've said, you know what, this does not work for me. It, again, doesn't matter. It doesn't change the fact that I will care about you deeply, probably for the rest of my life. And you'll always have like a special place in my heart. But you're damn bullshit, and you just can't be around. It's like that quote. It says, I still want you to eat, just not at my table.
Ooh.
That chair has been removed. Seat gone.
Somebody just got dragged. You just dragged somebody. Big time. I don't know who it was, but I felt the ouch. And you know what? Okay, so this is what I heard when you pulled up the honor you're feeling. They showed me a judge's thingamadoodle. What the heck do judges sit in? Their thing.
I don't fucking know.
Google, Siri, help, Alexa, what do judges sit in? But you know, we call them your honor. And they showed me that in that seat should be feelings sometimes. We are such a society that acts like feelings are some mushy, stupid. This
Feeling a 4-letter word. People don't want to show that they have feelings. They want to put on this tough exterior, like, it don't matter, I don't give a fuck. What is wrong with being vulnerable with your feelings and express?
And what Spirit just said was, so you honor feelings because that's the water, right? There's these elements. So sometimes Spirit speaks through feelings. And I was getting back to it because you were saying, how do they make you feel? Sometimes that's Spirit's gauge to you.
Yes.
Are you feeling anger? Are you feeling this? So there we go. There's another answer to the question we were all asking earlier with Keisha, you know, fear or intuition. Sometimes they're together as one. Sometimes Spirit is saying you're feeling fear right now because that's a feeling that is legitimate and there's something to actually pay attention to. Don't be fearful in the sense of I'm scared of a person, not horror, but the fear of being afraid, being scared. Because I'm talking to you through your feelings. I'm talking to you through your vulnerabilities and through emotions. A blessing. It's a gift. We were given them for a reason.
I'm not sure who needs to hear this, but they're saying really pay attention to how you feel around certain people. How do you walk away from those interactions feeling? Do you feel refreshed, energized, light? Or do you feel like you've just had the weight of the world put on you? Use that as guidance to lead you, right? And there's some people that, I mean, we knew the first time that we talked to Alicia that there was a reason for our connection, you know, and it's like that. We have a bunch of different soulmates, and people think, oh, soulmates, it's just love. It's not. There are mothers or fathers or siblings or children, all of those people that we've spent all of these past lives with.
Yeah.
Maybe not in the same role, but we're still part of that tribe to heal all of that shit from the past and break out of those cycles once and for all. And being able to listen to your intuition and your feelings, listening to when you have those fearful thoughts as well and figure out where they're stemming from makes a big difference.
I just got a big message from Divine Feminine. you know, very high priestess energy on exactly what you're saying, and the sacrum and what you were talking about in your video. And we got into like, oh, there's all this fire, right? Whoa, what is this? And I remember I was around somebody once before and my gut would act up, literal, like intestines, right? My gut would act up. They would touch me. Yeah.
Bubble guts.
They would touch, it's exactly what happened. They touched me and that's what would happen. And I was like, what is this? And then there's times I'm around people and my gut feels like, right? And it's not sexual, but there's fire, there's warmth. And I'm hearing the divine feminine. So feminines out there, and I should say women specifically, but also feminines, the womb, where the sacrum is the place of feelings, of fertility, of reproduction. Yeah. And so the sacrum, then, what you feel in that part of your fleshy body and your energetic body is telling you something. And it's telling you something about, going back to the first card you pulled, your path. It's literally, like we said, the GPS. It's telling you sometimes, ooh, nope, you're not, come back over here. Come back over here where you feel the buzz and the warmth and the love and the peace and the light, right? If you feel bubble guts, or if you feel fear, or if you feel whatever, judge it for a minute. Sit still and say, okay, is this aligned with my purpose and my path? And is this someone I need to be around? Is this a decision, right? That's why we say trust your gut. That's really what we mean.
Yes. Like, exactly what it is. It's trusting that intuition. And it is. Your body speaks to you. And oh, my guides are.
I love it. Oh, it's been here for a while.
Whew. All right.
I know. We both got to get out of here soon.
Yeah. My guys are just saying, and I have no idea why they're bringing this up. Okay. Oh my guys, great. Yeah, it's coming. As if I'm not uncomfortable putting myself out there enough as it is. So they're saying it's like, even when you're being intimate with someone,
yep,
you may be fucking smoking hot. You look at them and you're like, good God, I want to do X, Y, and Z, or A through Z, and then backwards, and then all of it all over again. When you're in that position and things actually start happening, let's say for the first time or whatever, but something doesn't feel right, listen to that.
Yes.
Because anyone can get laid, right? But it goes back to that womb being sacred as well. And for masculines as well, if like we're sleeping around with all of these people, we are connecting energetically and tethering. They're tethering those cords that should never have been there to begin with. Right? So it's something that we really have to pay attention to as well. Because I know I've had those situations in the past where I'd be in that moment and be like, oh, no, this isn't right. And it's like, you can't put your finger on it.
Yep.
But you just know.
Yep. And it goes back to what you were talking about earlier about when you ascend, when your vibration gets higher, when you become spiritually more mature, what also can happen is you don't feel it anymore like that. It's like, okay, this isn't even satisfying, because what happens is, unless you're matched with someone on that same frequency, even the sex is not going to be awesome. And I have had in the past where it was almost down and dirty about to happen, and a man has said, no, I can't do this. He said it. And it was like, I can't, you're a treasure, or you're this, or oh my gosh, you're this person. I can't even imagine doing this with you.
Or fire alarm set
Or-
off in a condo. Walk 16 flights downstairs, and Spirit's like, no, bitch, you are not doing this. I'm just saying.
We will step in. The other day, I got saved by the bell, literally. Yep, I get it. I get it.
You and me both.
It's like, could we listen in the same way when we feel a certain way from someone, right? Okay, if we equate that, and this is going to be one of our last moments because I got to get out of here. If we equate that moment of penetration physically, being interrupted by alarms, being interrupted by someone not doing it, you're not feeling it. Okay, and what other ways do people try to penetrate that's not sexual, right? You letting people into your heart, you getting into a commitment, you signing a contract for a job when you know it doesn't feel right, when you know that person's not good for you. It should be the same thing. You should be able to hear that same, stop, no. And how do we get to a point of understanding and hearing that, right? Meditation, being quiet, working on yourself and breaking these cycles.
And listening to that inner voice.
Yes.
Not going back into those patterns of, I hear it, I feel that this isn't right, but maybe I'm wrong, and not trusting that gut and being like, oh, well, they can change, they can improve. People don't change unless they truly want to. So there's a couple more cards that I feel is really important.
Okay.
On that note, in any moment, I can surrender to the powerful presence of love through prayer, contemplation, and stillness.
Confirmation.
I always trust the direction of the universe and know that I'm being guided. And look at the dragonfly. You guys look up the spiritual significance of dragonflies too, because they're deep.
They're awesome.
And finally, to tie up all of those messages that we got before, okay? My faith has the power to turn trauma into healing, conflict into growth, and fear into love.
Talk about tying it all together.
All of it.
And say that one more time. Can you hold it up and read it one more time?
Yeah. My faith has the power to turn trauma into healing, conflict into growth, and fear into love.
My faith has the power. So all you have to do is believe.
Believe. Faith of a mustard seed, right? They said that's all we have to have. Faith of a mustard seed can move mountains.
Wow.
And it's having that faith and holding on to that faith, that hope, and that belief.
Wow. That's power.
So we knew that the first one, especially Spirit, was going to be dragging our ass. We'd be on here for a while. So what I'm curious from you guys is, what kinds of topics do you guys want to talk about in the future? Like Alicia and I are planning on doing these collabs because we were both talking, and like I said before, as much as I love tarot and I am going to continue to do that, I also want to be able to provide guidance, and we can talk about all kinds of things. It's all right, Keisha, you can go back and watch it. Totally lost my train of thought because they told me to look down, and I did.
We might. It'd be great to have you on my channel, lady, to do a live next time.
Yeah, well, and you can post this one to yours too.
Okay.
When I lean on the faith of the universe, peace becomes more real. Look at those owls. Owls are about clarity, knowledge, wisdom. And knowledge is one thing, but really having that wisdom is putting that knowledge into use. That's so cute.
It's so funny too, because I had just heard your name, Eileen.
There you go.
We were talking about names and the
Your
word Eileen.
names.
And you've said tether a couple times, and I was like, yep,
Eileen.
Eileen. I love it.
Yep. Yep. So you guys, for those of you watching, those of you that'll be watching after the fact, leave comments and let us know what kinds of stuff are you interested in talking about. What would be helpful to you guys to discuss? Because that's our goal, right? Like we get our own channeled messages of stuff that we want to discuss, but ultimately we're here to help. How to elevate yourself past the dark negativity. No, you know what? And that's a really good point, Keisha. This is one of the conversations I was having with my guides, I want to say within the last couple of days too, is we learn and we grow and we ascend and we deal with all of our stuff, but there's certain lessons and certain things that we are not meant to do alone, because we're not being triggered in the same way if there is not another person there to do that triggering.
Yep.
Meaning, once you get to a certain point, you're going to have to go into some kind of they keep wanting me to say partnership, and I'm fighting them on saying partnership. So I'm like, no. There's certain things that only other people can trigger in you, basically, is what I'm spitting out. So that's definitely a good topic we'll talk about, but it's funny that you mentioned that. Anything else, Alicia?
Just to be easy. Be easy on yourselves, you guys. Anybody watching, including,
No.
Flow with it. Go with it. Yep. I was gonna say, you guys that are watching, and Eileen and Alicia who are gonna watch later and just realize how much was for us. But be easy on yourselves as you do this work.
Yes.
You gotta love on yourself and be gentle. So take time. It's a journey. It's a journey.
It is. All right, you guys. I love you all, Alicia. This was finally. We figured it all out. Me and electronics still don't mix. For those of you that have been with me from the beginning, still don't mix.
You're done good.
But we did not quit, and we got it.
Agreed.
Part of the lesson. So love you guys. Thank you for watching. Thanks for sticking around for those of you that did and that are going to be watching later. And we'll be back soon.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.